Welcome back, nerdy movie fans. So this is a video I've been trying to do for a little bit, but I'm just trying to get over the coughs again, which I know is just really annoying. But I was at a Star Wars convention called Rebel Scum Con. This one was Rebel Scum Con the third. It's their third one. And basically, it's exactly what you think. It's a Star Wars convention. You have stuff like Fan Expo or Comic-Con where you have so many different celebrities, so many different vendors for anime and superhero stuff and movie stuff and sci-fi stuff and just a little bit of everything. So being a Star Wars convention, this is mainly just Star Wars. Now, of course, some of the vendors there sell other things besides just Star Wars alone. However, most of the events and celebrities and the panels, all of that is just strictly Star Wars. And so they had a lot of really cool stuff there. It was kind of a last minute thing to go. Me and my brother going to this convention. So I didn't stand in the line to get signatures, but there was a lot of really cool people there. There was John Boyega was there, Bryce Dallas Howard, several cast members from Andor, a lot of the stunt doubles or kind of like background people almost from a lot of the Disney Plus TV series. So there's a lot of people there. So it was fun. It was fun. I personally didn't get any signatures, but I have heard that people who got signatures there, it was a pretty simple process, which is always pretty good. And so I just did a bunch of Star Wars shopping. But there's one thing I'm going to start with. The one thing that isn't Star Wars, but is sci-fi enough. So if you guys have heard me talk about basically what I think could be movie of the year for me, you know Project Hail Mary is a runner-up for me right now. That and Obsession are the two absolute most standout films right now. So there is a vendor there selling 3D printed items, little figurines, masks, helmets, all kinds of stuff. But he had a little Rocky, so I got that here. So it's kind of hard to show you guys because he stands better on complete flat surfaces. As you can see, all the legs move. So this is really cool. It's cool to have something physical from Project Hail Mary. I know there are some physical items from it, but it's not that kind of movie where you can just go to Walmart and go to the Project Hail Mary section and just pick merch out. It's not like that right now. So we got this here. I'll set that aside. And then something else I'll just sort of skim through because this may not be the most entertaining thing to check out. But there's a Lego booth there. A vendor selling Lego minifigures where it's a deal where the more you buy, the more free ones you get. And so I'll just go ahead. I have them all in these small bags that they put them in. So I'll just show you guys one at a time because I'm a sucker for Star Wars Lego. And to get cool minifigures without paying $50 to $70, $150 to $250 for a set, it's pretty cool just to see some of these. So lighting in this room is kind of always crap. So I'm going to show you guys the best I can through the bags. So we have a Magna Guard. So this one's pretty cool. I'm unfamiliar. I'm not the hugest Lego fan, so I'm unfamiliar with picking out a figure and saying, oh, I know which set this could have come with. I know that the vendor, he does a lot of custom Legos, but I know there are some from the sets that he buys that he just doesn't want that he turns around and resells. So I personally am unfamiliar with which of these figures came from a set or which one are custom, but I'm going to show you guys anyway. So here we have the Magna Guard. And then I'm just going to put them all back in the bag as I'm showing you guys. So we'll just kind of go through these. We got Public Scout Trooper, which is always pretty cool. One of those snipers. I'm just a sucker for clones, which you'll get familiar with here. We have a Phase 2 Clone Trooper with sort of that riot shield, which is pretty dope. That's really cool. This one, I believe, has to be a custom. This one, he has a shield, so it's kind of hard to see the full design of the minifig, but this one's pretty cool. It's sort of, I think it's supposed to be an ARC Trooper with the riot shield, so this is clearly a custom, but this one is really, really cool. This is stuff you get when you buy custom. There's just some neat stuff like this, and I think it's pretty cool. And then here we got another one. This was specifically from Clone Wars, which is pretty cool. If you remember from the movie that no one watched from Clone Wars, on the planet Teth, we see these troopers there, which is pretty cool. And then we have another clone trooper here, which is always pretty cool with the purple. I always love the purple on clone troopers, and you don't see them much, but it's really neat design. And then we take a break from clone troopers. We got Bo-Katan, which is pretty cool. It's got that extra hair piece if you take the mask off, and I think the antenna is in here somewhere, and then you got that wrist shield like she had in the Clone Wars. I think she is in the Mando a little bit. This is pretty cool to have. And then we got another clone trooper here, which is pretty awesome. This is clearly custom. This one's pretty cool. This design, I don't know if this was from Jack, but the design kind of reminds me of Jack. I don't know if he's supposed to be or not, or it's a repainted figure, but Jack was, I think he was a pretty neat character, and this kind of reminds me of it. And then we have, all of his wings are sort of on the side in here, but we have the Geonosian Soldier. So as you can see, the wing pieces are customized, so this is pretty cool. So there's this. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And then we have something else that's kind of absolutely random, but you know what? Whatever. I think it's cool. One of my favorite characters is Max Rebo, and I don't really know exactly why. He's just like one of those characters that it feels like people back before when Only Return of the Jedi had come out, and they said, you know, Boba Fett's favorite character, even though he didn't really do all that much. Max Rebo is like that for me. Every Star Wars fan has that one character that's one of their favorites that doesn't really do anything. So that's Max Rebo. This is a magnet. So they had a deal. Me and my brother got a deal where you buy so many magnets, you get so many free. What I'm going to do with these magnets, yeah, I don't know. But it's cool to have, I guess. Here we have Cad Bane. They're probably just going to end up on the refrigerator. This one's cool. This is a General Grievous from the earlier Clone Wars series. This was the most random purchase, so I just sort of skimmed through that because that is not the most exciting thing. But you know what? Whatever. And then I got a couple more things, a couple of t-shirts I think are really cool. So if you're a fan of Andy Serkis, I'm going to sort of back up to show you. We got this one here. So this is Gollum in Kino Loy, in his prisoner outfit from Andor. He's got that quote from Andor and from Lord of the Rings. So this is pretty cool, sort of that mashup kind of thing. And then we also got the logo, t-shirt with the logo for the convention, which is pretty cool. I almost like that Battlefront font, almost. It kind of reminds me of Battlefront, which, of course, is one of my favorite games. Not just favorite Star Wars games, but favorite video games. I mean, I had so much fun with those. And then, when it comes to the Black Series figures, you know, you go to a convention, you're going to find some stuff that's a little overpriced, but when you find something rare enough or cool enough and you're willing to pay for it anyway, that's what I did with this one. You got Lord Starkiller. This is an incredible set. You got plenty of lightsabers. It's really, really cool. I love the artwork on the back as well. And it says Force Unleashed. I've noticed Hasbro kind of cheaped out with some of their earlier figures where they made a figure from Legends where it's from a specific video game. But because that character was in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they put on the box Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes instead of recognizing the canon project that they, or Legends, should I say, project that they were in. So to see Force Unleashed on the box is really incredible. And obviously this is one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite looks from this character. So this is something incredible to have. And then I'm trying to decide what to show you guys next. And then there's only a few more things. So I'll kind of wrap this up in a minute here. But I had to get a lightsaber. So this is from the custom lightsaber company, Crimson Dawn. They make custom sabers. You can check their website. They have plenty of lightsabers from specific characters, but they made some custom ones like this one, and I just really love the green color on it. And these, I'm not going to mess with this now, but it's one of those where if you twist it, it turns on. And then they have the button here, which cool thing about these is if you download the app, which I personally haven't yet, you can, there's instructions on it. It's Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth, it charges, so you don't have to replace batteries, which is pretty nice. You can use the button to synchronize, which cycle through the different colors, and cycle customize the sounds and stuff. You can do it through the app. There's a way to do it without it, but the app apparently makes it easier, but if you don't want the storage or another app on your phone, it can be done without it. So it's just nice that those options are there. I personally just display the lightsabers. I have a sort of a rack on the wall where I just put all my lightsabers up on it. So this is not really going to be used as children may play with lightsabers, but this is just incredibly cool to have. So for the next part of this video, it's going to be masks and helmets, because that's one of my favorite things to collect, especially clone troopers. and Star Wars just has such cool masks. There's two things that are my favorite standouts of Star Wars. One would be the ships. I really am really into the design of the starfighters among Star Wars. But two, it's the armor, the masks, and the helmets. That kind of stuff is really cool. I love the Clone Trooper design, love the Mandalorian design. There's just incredible helmets and masks throughout Star Wars. So I'll start with one here. This is sort of a newer one. This is from Ahsoka and Maul Shadow Lord. This one, the Inquisitor's Marek. This is, I think, a really, really cool mask. You can't wear these. My head's a little too small for these. It kind of looks like a bobblehead on mine. But I'm not really going to cosplay with these, even though you can. You can see through this. It's limited. But you can see, even though it wouldn't seem like you could. But these masks are incredible. These are not 3D printed. There was a vendor there who did sell 3D printed masks, including Star Wars ones, but these were not. But the custom job on it, the finish, the paint, I mean, it looks absolutely incredible. So to have such a cool character like this, especially with such an interest after Maul Shadow Lord, this is something incredibly cool to have. And then from Clone Wars, we also have Asajj Ventress. This is when she was a bounty hunter for a short time. It's her bounty hunter mask. So this is really cool because something obscure, something Clone Wars obscure, you don't see very often. And I would never expect Hasbro Black Series to make this helmet. So to have it custom made, it's honestly cheaper than what Black Series would charge for. And it's probably going to be more detailed too. So this is just really incredible to have. I mean, Ventress is one of my favorite Clone Wars characters. She started off as just basic character almost. Her fighting Ahsoka constantly felt like General Grievous fighting Obi-Wan constantly. But as the seasons went on and her character progressed, she got a really, really strong story. Especially in the book Dark Disciple, which is kind of on the fence about whether or not it's canon. But then you have, she was in Tales of the Underworld, is what it's called. You got another arc for Ventress, which is cool. And she was in the Bad Batch. So she's had such a character development over the years, as incredible to see. So to having her mask is really, really cool. And then, because you guys know I'm a sucker for clones, if you watched Clone Wars Season 6, originally debuted on Netflix, and they eventually released on DVD. Now it's on Disney Plus with the rest of the seasons. But there is a story arc where Rush Clovis, Padme's ex, basically, there was a whole banking clan storyline in that. And when the Separatists tried to take control of the banks, the Republic tries to intervene, and this clone trooper was having like this final stand where he has this machine gun. He's absolutely raising hell in this final stand moment where he's killing, like, feels like 100 droids, all in the span of 15 seconds. And he doesn't even have that much screen time, but it's Commander Thorn. And I found his mask, and it's pretty incredible. This is really, really cool. This part was detachable for storage. If you have a shelf where it doesn't exactly fit on, you can detach it. And this is, you can wear it too. And these masks that I found, they all have like mesh inside, which unlike the Black Series where it's all just plastic, that's very comfortable and it's very nice. So having another Clone Trooper helmet is absolutely incredible. Like I said, I love the Clone Troopers. Commander Thorn was really, really cool. He was one of the most badass clones, especially given the fact that he has such minimal screen time. I mean, he was one of the clones with the least amount of screen time, and they made a helmet. They did make a Black Series figure for him now, finally. And he's finally gained the love that I think he was always there. But now Disney's giving him the love that the fans already had. And now, that's going to be the last item for the haul. We have right here, probably one of my new favorite masks, Starkiller. This is incredibly cool. So, this is something that I've sort of always wanted to have, is a replica piece from Starkiller. We see this helmet, and I think the armor as well, in Andor. Even though in Andor, it's never officially confirmed or announced or mentioned that it belonged to Starkiller, but fans recognize that that armor is Starkiller's. So to have this mask is really, really cool. Plus, it fits perfectly in my display room. Also, there is a chance Sam Witwer is going to be at, he's been at the Fan Expos that's going on right now. And I have a chance to go to Fan Expo coming up, and he's going to be there. And if I can get him to sign this, it would be one of the most incredible pieces in my collection to have. Because Sam Witwer, he's more commonly, I think, known for voicing Darth Maul. But Force Unleashed, playing Starkiller, that was sort of his start, his entry into Star Wars. And if you ever watch his interviews, which if you're a Star Wars fan, he will just give you information that you thought you knew, but then you didn't. I mean, he always has something new to say about whatever it is in his interviews he's being asked. And I believe it's one of his interviews he was talking about his voice audition, I guess is what it's called, for The Force Unleashed, and he was describing the lore for how he would clumsily build a lightsaber. He was trying to do that scene because it was motion captured, I believe, for the games, where he's building his lightsaber, and he did something different than what he was asked to do. But instead of just doing something different, just period, he explained it in a way that it made sense for the crew, for the developers at the time, and he was basically hired immediately. And now for Clone Wars, he's a legend through Clone Wars, and now he's just a Star Wars legend. I mean, he's done so much incredible work for Maul over the years. He's turned a random one-movie villain into a fan-favorite character, so much to the point that he now has his own TV show that not only got one season, but is getting another season. So he is absolutely one of my favorite Star Wars actors. So I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to meet him. That's my hopes. The Star Wars fanboy in me is really, really hoping that I get the chance to meet him. But irregardless, he's an incredible person. He's given so much to Star Wars, and I'm just really cool to have the Starkiller mask and figure too. So that is my haul for Rebel Scum Con. Rebel Scum Con, they're going to have it every year, I believe. So you have Star Wars Celebration, which is sort of like your Comic-Con of conventions for Star Wars. But then Rebel Scum Con, it's a smaller one. It's not as large, but because it's smaller, I think it's more of that intimate setting. And there's just, I mean, there are really cool people there. There's cool people talking about Star Wars. The vendors are really cool. It was a great experience. So I would recommend going if you get the chance. Obviously, there's a lot of cool stuff to pick up. So that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Keep it digging. Until next time, guys.